Hello aspirants, welcome back to Mains Answer Writing Basics program being conducted by Team India for IAS. This is Manjunath Mudod. In this video, we are going to discuss answer approach to the day 31 question. Subject for day 31 is polity. Within polity, the topic is fundamental rights. So within fundamental rights, the question is based on Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So this question, it is important for UPSC mains, upcoming UPSC mains 2024 and 2025. Also, it is important for KS mains 2025. So, in addition to mains, this Article 21, it is important for prelims also. So, prelims ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 21 ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಡೇ 31 ನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, discuss the scope and limitations of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution in safeguarding right to life and personal liberty. So the question is asking about scope and limitations of Article 31 in safeguarding right to life and personal liberty. How has its interpretation evolved? So it is also asking how the Supreme Court evolved the interpretation of Article 31, how it broadened the scope of Article 31. So this we should answer by writing the few judgments of the Supreme Court. Few judgments. The question has two parts. The first part is begins here and ends here, and the second part begins here and ends here. So this question is for 15 marks and 250 words. ಸೊ ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಕೇಳಲಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಟು ಲೈಫ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಲಿಬರ್ಟಿ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ how the interpretation of Article 31 evolved by the Supreme Court. So the liberal interpretation of Article 31 done by the Supreme Court through various judgments. So that we should answer. Coming to the answer approach, so we have to begin answer by writing an introduction. So in the introduction, we should briefly introduce the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So this article, it guarantees right to life and personal liberty. Right to life and personal liberty. This we should write. So after writing introduction, after writing introduction, in the introduction writing the provisions that are mentioned in the Constitution, then we should briefly mention its significance, like how it is provides the foundational role in safeguarding individual freedoms and its broader implications for human rights. Individual freedom. So it provides foundation for individual freedom and also broader base for or implication for other human rights. That we should write in a sentence. So this constitutes the introduction and transition para. Then we should start addressing the first part of the question, that is scope of Article 21. So coming to scope of Article 21, what and all we can write. So the literal interpretation, first we should write what is there in the Constitution, the textual interpretation. So what is the textual interpretation? In the Constitution, it is written that Article 21 ensures no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. So it talks about procedure established by law. If any procedure if it is established by law, then that procedure can deprive the life or personal liberty of a citizen. So that is the meaning of the Article 21. After writing its literal interpretation, then we should go for the expanded interpretation. So how Supreme Court expanded the interpretation of Article 21 by various judgments. So we have to write any 2 to 3 judgments. Then we should expand what is the broader meaning of the Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty. So first we can write about right to privacy. So right to privacy, it constitutes the right to privacy is a fundamental right which is inherent in Article 21 of the Constitution, that is the right to life and personal liberty. So this judgment was given by Supreme Court in case Puttaswamy case. So after writing this, then we should write about right to education. In Unni Christian versus State of Andhra Pradesh, Supreme Court said that right to education is part of the Article 21 of the Constitution, that is, right to life and personal liberty. The Supreme Court in this judgment said that right to education is part of Article 21 because the right to life, the existence of a person, is directly connected to his education. Yeah, a person cannot live like an animal, so he has to acquire education, and it is the basic duty of the state to provide education. That's why the Supreme Court made that right to education is a part of Article 21 of the Constitution, that is, right to life and personal liberty. So, after explaining right to education, we should talk about right to livelihood. In DK Basu versus State of West Bengal, Supreme Court said that right to livelihood is part of the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, that is right to life. Right to life. To have a dignified life, a person should earn. To earn, he should have a job or livelihood. So, without job or livelihood, a person cannot earn and cannot fulfill his right to life. So, right to livelihood is a part of Article 21 of the Constitution as expanded by the Supreme Court in DK Basu versus State of West Bengal case. So, by writing all these three judgments, the Supreme Court expanded the scope of Article 21 of the Constitution. Then we should talk about the limitations of Article 21. So, what are the inherent limitations in Article 21? The first one is procedure established by law. So, the Article 21 it says that procedure established by law can deprive right to life and personal liberty. So, this acts as a limitation on right to life. Further, the Supreme Court in various judgments said that or asserted that this procedure established by law must be fair, just, and reasonable. So, if it fulfills all the three criteria, then the law is valid or it does not violate the Article 21 of the Constitution. Then we should talk about judicial scrutiny. So, what is judicial scrutiny? How the Supreme Court interprets the various laws various laws which may affect or which may violate Article 21 of the Constitution. So, this interpretation is done according to whether that law fulfills fair, just, and reasonable restrictions or not. Also, keeping in mind natural justice, the principle of natural justice. The question also asks about the evolution of the interpretation of the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. This can be studied under two phases, that is pre 1971 era and post 1971 developments. So, in the pre 1971 era, initially Article 21 was interpreted narrowly, focusing on protection against arbitrary action by the state. So, it is only against the arbitrary executive action, not the legislative action by the state. So, in the post 1971, there were few developments which changed the interpretation of the Article 21. So, this was the one of the major innovation adopted by Supreme Court in order to protect the Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty of the citizens. So, in the Manakav Gandhi versus Union of India in the year 1978, Supreme Court said that the procedure established by law must be fair, just, and reasonable. It should not be any arbitrary law. Then in Francis Corel Mullin versus Administrator of Union Territory of Delhi, it added that right to live with human dignity to the Article 21. Right to live with human dignity. So this is very important, human dignity. So right to life does not mean just animal existence. So a person has human dignity. So this Article 21, it also encompasses human dignity. So then in Vinit Narayan versus Union of India in the year 1977, Supreme Court highlighted the importance of effective legal procedures. Effective legal procedures for what? Effective legal procedures to approach court in order to ensure Article 21, in order to enforce Article 21 whose life is affected. So that is right to life and personal liberty affected. So this is how the Supreme Court evolved the interpretation of the Article 21 of the Constitution. So that is liberal interpretation. So after addressing both the parts of the question, we should write conclusion. So in the conclusion, we should summarize the evolution of the interpretation of the Article 21 by Supreme Court, how it came out of narrow interpretation of the Article 21 to liberal interpretation, encompassing the broader meaning, bringing broader meaning to the Article 21. So this we can write as a conclusion, or else we can address the current relevance of Article 21 in the era of globalization, climate change, conflicts, insurgency, so forced migration. How we have to highlight the importance of Article 21. So this is all about day 31 question answer approach. We will meet again in day 32 question answer approach. Till then, happy learning.